Hey everybody, my name is Lane Sebring. I am the author of Preaching Killer Sermons and the creator of PreachingDonkey.com, which is just a website designed to help preachers communicate better. So you can check us out there. But today we're going to be talking about the 3 must-dos of a strong sermon opening. What do you got to do in those first few seconds when you walk up onto the stage to deliver your message? What are the 3 things that you have to do? The first thing you've got to do is you've got to start high. Understand that the first 90 seconds of any sermon are the most vital seconds you have. It's during those seconds that people are determining whether you're worth listening to. They're determining whether you've got anything of value to add. They're kind of sizing you up and deciding, can I trust this person? I don't like the way they're dressed, I don't like the way they look, or I don't trust religion, or I don't like this church, or somebody made me come today and I'm not really sure what I think about it. All of these things are going through their head. And for you, as the communicator, as the preacher, you have a very short window of time, these 90 seconds roughly, to capture and maintain their interest in you and your content. And by the way, you're competing with their smartphone. Okay, they've got an iPhone or an Android in their pocket that they can pull out and access the entire world right there in their fingertips. Texting, email, Facebook, apps, Instagram, whatever they're doing, they can just access it and completely tune you out, and you're competing with all of that. And so it's very important. If your message is important to you, and it should be, you've got to start high. What does that mean? It means that you, when you walk up onto the stage, you are thrilled about what you're doing. Like, you're just enamored by the opportunity you have to stand in front of a group of people and to proclaim the Word of God. And that enthusiasm is believable, and it shows. Okay, I'm not talking about theatrics, I'm not talking about being crazy. I'm saying the way that it fits you and your personality, but you feel a sense of urgency about your content, and that urgency comes out in your mannerisms, in the volume of your voice, the way that you engage and speak to and with your audience right off the bat. Okay, so we're going to start high. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to start clear. Okay, enthusiasm without clarity could just look like passion that doesn't have substance to your listeners. So you want to start clear. Here's what I mean by this. I mean that you want to give people, you want to give your listeners an idea of where you're going. Okay, tease where you're going. I talk a lot about building tension. I have a post about that in a podcast episode. We'll do a video on it. I'll add some of that stuff in the description so you can check it out now. But building tension early on in your sermon is vitally important to ensuring that people are on the hook to hear more. And so part of starting clear is to build tension immediately, okay, around your content. Try to get people to care about what you're going to say before you say it. And so I'll go into more detail about that in future videos, but we're going to start clear by building tension, by giving people an idea of where we're going, by giving people an idea very quickly about where the value add is. How is this sermon going to benefit them? Because here's the thing that those of us who preach just have to realize. If you're a preacher, you're a content person, which means that you love content. If somebody's delivering content, if somebody's preaching a sermon, if somebody's giving a lecture or a speech, you're listening. Because that's what you do. It's what you're into. You might be listening because you want to critique them. You might be listening because you're just interested in trying to figure out different ways to say it, or maybe you just need a touch from God. Whatever the case may be, you're listening because you're inclined to do that. Not everybody is. A lot of people are inclined to not pay attention, are inclined to think this is going to be boring, or he doesn't have anything to offer me, or God doesn't have anything to offer me. And so when you start with clarity, immediately letting people know, hey, you're going to be interested in this content. This is going to help you in some way. This is going to answer a question that you have. This is going to help solve a problem that you have. It's very, very important. So we're going to start high. We're going to be enthusiastic. We're going to start clear, laser focused. People understand exactly where we're going. They may not know the whole story yet. It's part of the tension, part of building that tension. But they know right away that there's something in this sermon for me. And then finally, we're going to start now. We're going to start right now. And here's what I mean. Imagine this scenario, and I know you've probably seen this before, okay? The preacher walks up, the music finishes, the worship leader finishes praying, the preacher walks up onto the stage, and he puts his notes down, and he kind of fumbles with his notes, and he opens his Bible, and he scratches his ear, This is the view, by the way, that you have of him. It's like the top of his head. You're looking at this bald spot, Not engaging, okay? That is not an engaging way to begin your sermon. You want to start now. Here's what I mean. I mean, the second you walk onto the stage, you're making eye contact with people, you're engaging them, you're speaking, okay? You're giving them something to attend to. You're not having them watch you fumble with your notes, okay? Nobody wants to do that, okay? So we're going to start high, we're going to start clear, we're going to start now. Seems simple, but here's what I want you to do. Your next sermon, I want you to think through those first 90 seconds. And I want you to think through, honestly, the first 30 seconds, and the first 60, and the first 90. In the first 30 seconds, is your enthusiasm knowable? How could you make your enthusiasm for the content knowable? Maybe it's just in the way that you carry yourself. Maybe it's in how you engage your audience. Are you clear in the first 60 seconds? Is there something within the first 1 minute of you speaking that gives your audience an indication of where you're going and why it matters? And then in the first 90 seconds, have you begun in that time to map all this out so that people know, hey, if you're on your phone, and you don't have to even say this, okay? If this works right, you shouldn't even have to say this, but to those people on your phones, you're gonna miss out because the people around you are gonna get something. They're gonna benefit in some way that you're gonna miss if you're on your phone, okay? So I want you to do that for your next sermon, and then let us know in the comments what you think, and also, what are your must-dos of a strong sermon opening? What are the things that you would say, this has to happen for a sermon to be effective at reaching an audience and communicating with people and capturing and maintaining their attention? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And until then, check us out at PreachingDonkey.com. You can follow us on Twitter at PreachingDonkey, and make sure to hit that subscribe button wherever it is so that when we update, you can get the updates right away and you don't miss a thing. We'll see you next time.